Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Martin Louis from Keep Exploring Games, looking at Tour Operator by Mr. Tier. I know we are trying to help people travel the world.
Yes.
Give them what they want to see. Okay. How do we actually go about doing that?
Well, so the goal of the game is to run the most successful tour operator business.
Okay.
And by doing so, you have to make your tourists the happiest they can be.
Okay.
It's all about making the tourists happy. So I think the best way to explain the game is by going one round and just explaining it. Every round in the game lasts for 6 phases. In the first phase, previous tourists check out of the hotel. But since in the first round there are no tourists in your hotel because you're just starting out, you can just skip over that.
Okay.
And then new tourists appear. I already laid them down right here.
Right.
But how it usually works is that there is a drawing phase. Everybody in the beginning of the game draws 5 tourists from the deck. And then they choose 3 and put them in their office. Then switch the other 2 cards around with the other players.
And then
get one more, exactly.
Okay.
And then you put them right there in your office. A little bit more about the tourists. They all have unique artwork, as you can see.
Yep.
And they all have different wishes. In the top left corner, you can see the interests that they have. She wants to go shopping. He wants shopping or culture. He likes to drink, party, and she also likes culture. They start off with a certain level of patience. These 2 are not very patient, but they're all right. These 2, they are happy to just wait another round. Because one of the tricks in the game is you have 4 people in your office, but you only have 3 seats in your airplane, so always somebody has to wait.
Okay.
And then they have specific wishes for the flight as well as the hotel. Okay. Like this tourist and this one as well, they want to fly business class, which you only have 1 seat for. Okay. The other 2, they don't care if they fly business or economy.
Right.
He is okay with sleeping in a dorm room, she as well, which means that you can put 2 people in one hotel room. Okay. And she wants to sleep in a VIP room. Right. And he doesn't really care.
Okay.
And the last thing you can see is how long they will stay. He will only stay for 1 week. They will stay for 2 weeks. They only score your points once. So the longer they stay, they're just filling up your rooms. That's not what you want.
Okay.
So once you have the tourist in your office, the next step is to get them on the plane, which is basically just selecting the 3 people you want to fly and putting them on your seats.
Okay.
Before you even manage to set them up to your hotel, you also need to roll for resources. Because these seats right now, they are not clean.
Okay.
And nobody likes to fly on a dirty airplane seat. So you have to have these tokens on them. Similarly with hotel beds, they also need to be clean. Right. And they are clean when they have a token on them. If you want to fly on the board, you need fuel to fly. And if tourists get unhappy, you can make them happier again with use of coupons. Okay. So those are the 4 resources in the game.
All right.
And you can use employees. As for resources, you have 5 dice. They're all the same. You just roll them and see what happens. In this case, you get 2 clean beds, 1 employee, and you get 2 dice. You can
your choice.
Of your choice.
Okay.
It's not completely random though. Like if you don't like this result, what you can do is just sacrifice 1 dice. For instance, if you don't like this die, you just move it away and you change this into a coupon. So you have a little bit of control over which resources you get. Also, some employees give you choice of that. Like this employee here works in your office here. He has a once per round use, and he gets a free, not a re-roll, but a turn of the die.
Okay.
Similarly, this one gives you a free clean room every round. It works in your hotel. And this woman here gives you 3 clean seats once. And when you use it, you have to get rid of it again. Okay. Exactly. So that's how you manage the resources. Then you put the tourists on the plane. And then you get to score points because you get to fly somewhere. At the beginning of the game, you all start at one side of the board. So for instance, right now the red player starts on this side. Okay. Every town you fly to costs 1 fuel. So you can go to Essen, for instance, which right now will be 2 fuel because you start from here. If you want to go to Vancouver, for instance, that will be 1 fuel.
Okay.
After arriving in the city, you get to score points. You just look at the points for the different attributes and you match it with a tourist. So if you fly this gentleman to Essen and he likes to have a drink, that's a maximum of 5 points. But if you wanted nature, then it would not be a good idea to fly to Essen.
Right.
There might be nature here. I've never seen any nature. I've just seen
That's
hotels
right.
and the fair.
There's the gardens outside and here, but yeah, we
it's-
don't see those.
It's not very well known for it.
Yes.
So you get to fly all the tourists to a location. You score the points on this common track.
So
you
all
just
the tourists are going to a single location
Exactly.
and scoring as best they can.
yeah.
So they're trying to find something that will satisfy everybody, but
Yeah, the most. Like
The most.
sometimes you have a choice with this gentleman here. Culture or shopping is fine, so you get to get 2 points or 5. While shopping in Essen, I don't need to explain that. So that will be fine. She gets always a +1 bonus on culture, so that will be 3
Right.
points flying her to Essen. So you have to match up the tourists with the spots.
okay.
And then if you fly to a location, it closes. You just turn it around
Okay.
because you can only score a city once, which makes the field smaller as you progress through the game.
Right.
You put them in your hotel. You mark the amount of weeks they will stay, because in phase 1 of each round they lower it by 1
Okay.
as they get close to checking out. You have to look at the wishes, which room they will get into. If you put them in a different room as what they want, or you put somebody who wants to fly business in an economy seat, it's possible. It just gives you 1 minus point.
Okay.
But you can also, if you put somebody on a plane seat that has not been cleaned yet, they also get 1 point less. Similarly with this, except you can never. Some people might sit in a seat that's not completely clean, but nobody is going to sleep into a bed that's not been made.
Okay.
So there always has to be a clean room marker.
Otherwise, you just can't book them at all.
Yeah. So if you
Okay.
put somebody in a plane, and then you fly him to a city, and you don't have a clean room, then he's going to be angry and he's going to leave, and that's going to cost you 3 points.
Okay.
So you always have to plan the phases of a turn a little bit ahead.
Okay.
It's also always everybody does phase 1 and then everybody does phase 2. Some of the phases you can do similarly, like I can roll for the dice, and once I see if I can, you deposit them here. And when I'm deciding whether to use them now or next round, somebody else can already throw
Right.
the dice.
Okay.
And then for the final phase, once we're in Essen or anywhere else, we're going to have the tourists do an activity. At the bottom of the card, you can see the different activities.
Mm-hmm.
There are 5 different ones. Like Essen, you can, we walk a lot here. It's not really hiking in here, more like slowly walking, but nevertheless.
That's right. Well encumbered with lots of materials. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's different ones. And this is a little bit of set collection. So what you do is you select an activity where you go. Like in Essen, you don't have a choice, but in Ushuaia, for instance, you can either do some winter sports, some scuba diving. You place one of your player markers here on the board. Somebody else, on the magic symbols, of course. Somebody else can also do it. But the first one who completes a row gets the victory points that are after it, and then
Okay.
nobody else can score the same row.
Okay.
And then you reset it for the next round.
Okay. And you play a certain number of rounds or to a point total?
Yeah, you play a certain number of rounds, and in the end of the game, most of the cities will be closed, so it will getting more tight. You're looking at what other players will do. The starting player also is changing every round according to who has the fewest amount of victory points.
Okay.
So that shifts around as well.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Martin.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Overview of Tour Operator from Keep Exploring Games. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.